Hello everybody, this is Sharon, and I have a project I'd like to share with you guys today. These are a couple of Valentine's cards. I did one of them for my granddaughter, and one for another family member, so I thought you guys might be interested in just seeing another process video. This is the stamp set that I'm using. It's by Mama Elephant, and the name of it is I Like You. Really cute. It has all kind of different sentiments and things like that that you can use on it. These are the 2 distress inks, and I actually used 3. I used Broken China too, and you'll see that a little bit further on. And I put this ribbon up at Hobby Lobby, and this is some of the ink that I use to stamp my images, and I use those to blend my distress inks. And these are some of the Zig Real Clean brush markers, and these are a couple of the colors that I used. I also used some a white gel pen and a water brush pen and some Wink Stella. I think my Wink Stella is about out because you couldn't hardly see that on there. And then I use this distress, it's just a water sprayer. I picked that up at Hobby Lobby. And so this is the one for my granddaughter, and we're going to be doing another one that's going to be similar to that, but it's a little bit bigger. So I went ahead and cut out my base, and it's just with some white Bristol smooth cardstock, and the die that I used over there is the dotted rectangles. And so this is the little stamp that we're going to be using, the sentiment on the stamp. And this is the watercolor paper. Well, it's not really watercolor paper, but you can use watercolor on it, watercolor things like that on it. And here's the stamp. And after I embossed that, I had to cut part of this out because the embossing powder that I used said it was snow, and it was a fine detail embossing powder. But when I stamped it out and went ahead and used it, it was clear. And so when I actually stamped it, it had a little bit of a black ink on it from where I had used the stamp earlier. And so the ink came onto my paper here. As you can see, it's kind of a gray color, but the embossing powder was supposed to be white, so you can't always go by what's right on the embossing powder, the little thing. But thankfully I could just stamp right back over that since I was using my Tim Holtz stamping platform, and I did find some white embossing powder, so you don't see that right here, but it does in the end. It is white instead of the gray color. But right here I'm just using some of the distress inks and just getting the color, the background on there like I wanted. And that's how it looked. The top of the one there is called Barn Door, and the other one was called Pink Raspberry. Those are the 2 distress colors that I use. And right here I'm trying to wipe that off. I'm not sure why it's not white. I can't understand that, so I'm just, wiping and thinking, is it just, the colors on there? Is it not coming out? Because it is like a grayish color. It's not pure white, but I do finally figure that out, even though like I said, the embossing powder it said white, but it was clear. So right here I'm just spraying this, spritzing a little water on it. I'm just taking a paper towel and wiping some of that back off just to give it a little bit of texture there. So that's how it looks up close. You can see how it took some of the pigment of the ink off of there. So right here you can actually see where it's white. I was able to find some white embossing powder and go back over that. So now I'm just going to stamp out the little mittens and a heart, and there's also a smiley face that I'll show you guys in just a minute that I put in the mittens. And this is the ink that I use. This is a good watercolor ink. It won't work with your alcohol markers like your Copic markers or something like that, but it will work with watercolor. Any kind of watercolor distress inks, the Zig markers, anything like that. And so I'm stamping this out 5 times. The first one didn't show up really good, so I really only needed 4 images. And then I'm going to stamp this little smiley face in each glove. I thought that was a really cute little look. And that's how it looks. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my Zig Real brush markers, and these two colors, one is light blue and light carmine, which is like a medium pink looking, and that's the water brush pen that I'm going to use. And I think I just picked that up at Hobby Lobby. And so I'm just going to start with the blue one, and I just kind of go around the edges to make it look kind of rounded instead of so flat. That's the look that I was going for, so the light source would actually be straight on it and not above it or not to the side. And then I just do it in small sections so that the ink doesn't have time to dry, because if it does, it will not spread with your water brush. So I just kind of go around all of that the same way, and I just do a couple of images. See me, actually color this in instead of having to watch all four of them, because it's the same process over and over. So I'll just show you two of the images here. And this is in the light carmine. And I do have a video, a haul video on these. If you guys are interested in seeing that, where I purchased them and everything like that, I have a link for that. And I did purchase them off of Amazon. That was where I could find them at the best price. So if you're interested in purchasing these, I would advise there. I did look at some more places, and they were a lot more expensive there. And so far, I've really enjoyed using these. They remind me of distress coloring, with the distress inks or distress markers. It's basically the same thing as far as the way you color. So I'm just going to put my card together right now and lay everything out and just kind of see how I want to do it. And this is my glue of choice that I love to adhere paper together. And this is Fabri-Tac. And it is kind of expensive, but you can use a coupon if you purchase it at Michael's or at Hobby Lobby, and they also have it at Walmart, and it's a little cheaper there too. So I'm just really mashing that down really good, because that paper is kind of thick and it wanted to warp up a little bit from the water and the embossing powder there. So I'm just really putting a lot of glue on here to make sure it stays down really good. So now I'm just going to add my little mittens. And like I said before, when I asked you guys if y'all were interested in watching these process videos, a lot of you guys said that you were. So just from time to time, I'm going to do, just these simple cards. It doesn't take long. They're not really complicated, and anybody can do them. You don't even have to have the Zig markers. You can use your distress inks or your distress markers, or just whatever, Copic markers or whatever. So really simple little cards, and they're just so much fun to make, and they don't take long at all to do them. So I really enjoy doing those. And that's just a little tiny heart from the stamp set there. And I just used the 3 distress colors. The picked raspberry, barn door, and broken china are the 3 colors that I used to just stamp some little hearts around the mittens there. And this is the picked raspberry right here. And I just kind of do one color. I do the picked raspberry first, and 4 different places, I think. Then I go next in with the barn door, and I just do 4 more hearts that's, you know, kind of close to those, just kind of putting them in sets of 3s. I just, for some reason, like the odd numbers when it comes to stuff like this. And then the next color that I use is broken china, and I just do the same thing with it, just add it to the little set there, set of parts there. So now I'm just going to add some of the Wink Stella to the little mittens, and like I said, I think my Wink Stella is almost out. There is a little trick. If it does run out the first time and it doesn't want to come out, you can add water to that, and you can use it actually again, so it's like having it twice for the price of one. But it didn't do too good that time, so I'm going to have to check and see if it is about out. And then I just add this ribbon and make a little bow up there. I just wrap it around twice and then tie a bow up there, and that will complete this card. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and was able to follow along if you would like to craft, you know, to make some cards like this. I hope you guys have a great Valentine's Day, and thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye bye.